Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypno-coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you want to know more about my professional work, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Today I want to talk about kindness and a riddle that's involved with kindness. To what degree do we hold people responsible while also trying to think kindly about them? The Reverend John Watson, a minister of the Free Church of Scotland in the 19th century, was also a prolific writer. He wrote under the pen name of Ian McLaren, and perhaps the greatest claim to fame that he has in his writings was a sentence that has been much quoted and falsely attributed to Plato, Socrates, and even Philo of Alexandria. The quote goes, "Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always." I love this quote, and I try to take it to heart and use it to manage my own emotional world. I mean, some days it seems like the world is full of jerks or schemers who are out to bully, use, or exploit us, or just make our life difficult in some way. I've met people like this, and so have you. McLaren's quote helps me realize that all I know of other people is the behavior they do that comes to my notice. As some of this behavior will be about things that are relevant to my interests, I will come to have an opinion about the person performing the behavior. But you can't get inside another person's head and know what really motivates them. Something that might seem harsh or off to me might actually have been intended as helpful as that person understands help. For example, I had a culinary instructor when I was a chef who I thought was an absolute lunatic. He shouted, raved at his staff, demanded unreasonable degrees of precision, and was generally an all-round pain in the butt to deal with. But as I got to know him, I came to understand that his motivation was really to help the chefs who worked under him to improve. He just didn't understand that shouting insults was not the best way to do that. But he was shouting in an effort to get people to do their best and expand their skills. He actually liked the people on his staff. We just didn't understand that and passed judgment on him on the basis of his behavior and how it made us feel. Now, this past week, the news came out that a famous couple, Bill and Melinda Gates, were divorcing after almost 3 decades of what appeared to be a happy and successful marriage. That news made me think of McLaren's quote. While the Gateses seemed happy, wealthy, and living meaningful lives, ever since Bill Gates left Microsoft, he's been devoting his life to charity, as has his wife. But obviously, there was something going on in their larger world that we don't know about. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. In 1965, the musicians Simon and Garfunkel published a song called Richard Cory, based on a poem written by Edwin Robinson in 1897. The lyrics begin by setting the stage. They go, "They say that Richard Cory owns half of this whole town, with political connections to spread his wealth around. Born into society a banker's only child, he had everything a man could want: power, grace, and style. The papers print his picture almost everywhere he goes. Richard Cory at the opera, Richard Cory at a show, and the rumor of his parties and the orgies on his yacht. Oh, surely he must be happy with everything he's got. The lyrics then tell us about the singer who does not have the lifestyle or advantages of Richard Cory. But I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be, oh, I wish that I could be, oh, I wish that I could be Richard Cory. Then the song completes with a surprising ending that exactly illustrates Maclaurin's insight. The lyric picks up, "He freely gave to charity, he had the common touch, and they were grateful for his patronage, and they thanked him very much. So my mind was filled with wonder when the evening headlines read, Richard Cory went home last night and put a bullet through his head." As Maclaurin said, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Now, I am not saying that we shouldn't hold people accountable. I believe we're all accountable for what we do. There is a reason why someone who is abusive does the abuse. And that reason may be related to something cruel that was done to them, and they're just kind of passing the abuse along. But that doesn't mean they're off the hook morally. They're not. When I say this to people, they sometimes look at me quizzically. "You're being inconsistent, Giles. You're saying we should not be quick to judge people because they're fighting a battle we know nothing about, but then you say that they should be held accountable. Clarify." Well, I can clarify. Simply, a reason why someone does something is not an excuse for doing it. There is a reason for everything because everything has a cause. That does not mean that the reason overpowers moral responsibility. There is a reason why Bill and Melinda Gates have decided to end their marriage, and whatever that reason is, it belongs to them and is no one else's business. But when considering behavior that is actively harmful, the point becomes more clear. There was a reason why Richard Cory or anyone else committed suicide. There is a reason why an older boy, for example, sexually abuses a younger boy, or a teacher seduces a student. There was a reason my executive chef at that first restaurant yelled at everyone. There is a reason for every bad thing anyone does. However, none of these reasons is necessarily an excuse for the behavior that gets the perpetrator off the hook if they've hurt others or have been unfair. Because a reason for something is not an excuse for having done it. However, a reason for something is a reason, and we should weigh reasons when making up our minds. That is, the reason for something should be considered when we try to consider the moral weight of something that's happened. If someone kicks a dog because they have a deep-seated fear of dogs resulting from a childhood injury by a dog, that is different from someone who kicks a dog because they enjoy causing animals pain. In both cases, kicking the dog is wrong and should be prevented if possible. But these two incidents are not the same morally, and our response should be different. In the first case, we might hope the person can get some therapy, and we should certainly try to keep them away from dogs. In the second, we might want to recommend therapy too, but we also have to regard the person who kicked the dog for pleasure as a dangerous person, wondering what else they might do. So be kind in passing judgment about others while also holding them accountable for any harm. If you don't know why a person did something, it's usually best to assume something sympathetic. If they're actually malevolent, that will become apparent soon enough, and your judgment can be updated. But I can guarantee that you will feel better if your basic rule is, as McLaren put it long ago, remember that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject, and I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. If I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel. Stay well and stay safe.